1, 2, 3.
You could walk a mile in Marko Cheseto's shoes.
So I'm now switching from my walking legs to the running ones.
Or you could run in his finely tuned prosthetics.
So now I am ready with my running legs.
Marko lives and trains in Claremont, home of the 10-mile clay loop.
It's not paved, so it's good for the knees and hips, so I like this.
A destination for some of the best runners in the country, in his case, the world.
In fact, sometimes when I post some pictures from here, some people are like, "Are you in Kenya?"
Kenya is where his story begins.
Growing up in Kenya, looking it back now, it was not an easy growing up. But the lifestyle, going to school, running to school, going to the market to buy some things for the house, all those added up that endurance for running.
In Kenya, Marko followed the path set by many runners before him. He ran track and cross country at a Kenyan college. In 2006, he started getting recruited by American schools. His father sold his farm animals and his shop to get him to the United States.
My dad had 20 kids, 2 wives. So my mom, 11 of us, and the other wife, 9. So imagine just spending everything that you have on one kid.
When you bet it all, there's always a chance you could lose it.
Now, sometimes we take things for granted and then something happens to you, then it gives you a perspective in life.
In 2008, Marko traded in the sand for the snow. He was running track and cross country at the University of Alaska, Anchorage.
Never seen something that falls from the sky other than the rain and you never get wet. And you don't even feel it falling. It's just like dust.
In 2010, his cousin William Riddikwang came over from Kenya and joined the team too.
He was doing good in school, he was doing well in running, and there was no red flags anywhere.
February 19th, 2011. Marko was working at a gym on campus when his phone rang. It was William. He wanted to talk.
And I didn't see any need to just go talk to him at the moment, and it was Friday. I said, we'll talk later. We don't have anything going on tomorrow. There are no classes, so we'll talk. But then we came home and he had hanged himself.
Marko took the loss hard. He blamed himself and says he slipped into depression.
You know, as an African man, you're not gonna accept that you're having a mental breakdown. And even like now that I go around, share my story, a lot of people still have that mentality too, even here in the US. Like nobody really goes around and say, you know what, I just snapped.
Marko was prescribed antidepressants and started getting counseling. April 2nd, 2011, campus police responded to a medical call. Marko had overdosed on his medication. He was taken to a local hospital where he stayed for 28 days. That summer, he says he started to feel better, but by the fall, his depression returned.
And by November of that year, I was just like not seeing any light at the end of the tunnel, as we would say. So then one evening that year, I took some antidepressants and went for a run. So then I passed out from an overdose of that.
Sunday at about 7:15 p.m., somebody who will have known Marko saw him at what we call the social science building.
Marko went missing in the Alaska woods for 56 hours. What do you remember from that run?
The only thing I remember from that run was me getting up in the middle of the night and the moon was shining so bright. Of course, there was a ton of snow on the ground. And at that time, my head was so clear and I knew I was in the wrong place. And if I didn't get out of that place as soon as I can, I knew something bad was going to happen to me.
Frozen and lost, Marko only knew one thing. He wanted to live.
And that adrenaline rush, knowing that I was about to die, gave me that energy to try and get up and get out of there.
Marko later told police that he followed the sound of cars, then he saw lights. Those lights led him to a hotel lobby.
As soon as I opened the door, first thing he said was 911, and that's all he could pretty much say.
Marko was taken to the hospital and treated for frostbite. After 3 days, the doctors were able to save his hands, but not his feet.
You know, at that moment in life that you're asking yourself, what am I supposed to tell myself now? Somebody walks in and says, hey, we are going to cut your feet, and you know, these are the feet that got you across the globe, you know, from Kenya to Alaska, and all of a sudden, they're gonna be gone.
After surgery, Marko's physical transformation was obvious, but something changed mentally too.
I realized at that moment that, you know what? Things will happen in life. Some you may have control, and some you will never have control over them. You just live through them, and this is one of them.
It's been almost a decade since Marko lost his feet.
Let me get my protective gear.
Now he builds them.
So we're using Fabtech to just glue it together.
Marko now leans on his own experiences to help make custom prosthetics for Stan Patterson's patients in Orlando.
Can you show them how you can walk there again? Good. I think it's one of those great comeback stories. You know, it's what we all look at doing here in the U.S. is we never count anyone out. Can I get both of y'all walking together right here? So just right through here, just walk down there and back.
Marko first started running again in 2013.
That way you can have only a little bit of pressure on it.
In 2018, he moved to Florida to work for Stan and train for marathons.
And you know, I started training right away, and that year I ran New York City Marathon.
Marko has also run the Boston and Chicago marathons. He currently holds the fastest known time by a double amputee.
Always feel like this is the second chance that I was given to do all the things that I had planned to do or what I want to achieve in life.
Marko has a wife and 3 kids. He has a job he loves and a running career that's earned him a sponsorship from Nike. Most importantly, he's happy.
As human beings, we have tremendous powers to overcome adversity. So I want that kid out there, somebody watching this story, to know that you can overcome anything in life. It's you telling yourself, you've got this.